A little while back, I saw a clip of Frontlines on social media and was like, what new Call of Duty game is this? And then was absolutely dumbfounded when it turned out that this was actually a Roblox experience. That's right, the game that kids play on their iPads with blocky looking characters and overly saturated maps. I had to check it out to see what was going on and was blown away by the capability of the Roblox platform. And since then, a lot has changed about what people expect from this platform. Today, we're going to take a look at what seems like a revolution coming to Roblox. So the developers of Frontlines, that game that first pulled me in, just launched their next game called Versus. It takes a lot of the same design concepts from Frontlines and throws them into a single elimination versus format. It currently supports 1v1, 2v2, and 3v3 matches. There's also a regular TDM mode if you're looking for something more traditional. And obviously the graphics upgrade that Versus and Frontlines provides is a big selling point to actually getting into these games, but they're also just good, fun experiences from the ground level. Now, when compared to Frontlines, which is really just following in the footsteps of the traditional Call of Duty 4 format, Versus is a bit different. It's still got that fast-paced arcade action that we remember from the glory days of Call of Duty 4, but it ramps things up considerably since your character sprints at all times, unless you crash or ADS. That's right, there's no walking in Versus. And at first it was a totally bizarre feeling, like I actually thought there was something wrong in my control setup, but nope, it's just how the game was designed to play. And after a couple of matches, it starts to click. The non-stop sprinting is intended to keep the pace of the single elimination modes extremely fast. Call of Duty has tried to do some modes like this over the years with some success here and there, but the slow pacing and rampant camping in those modes often felt at odds with the sort of ADHD energy drink gameplay, and they always kind of remained a niche experience because they were sort of more on the side of arena shooter than tactical shooter. With Versus though, I think the developers have really cracked that pacing issue. It's got that arena shooter appeal, but with Call of Duty shooter aesthetics. And once I got the hang of the movement mechanics, I was absolutely wiping the floor with, well, I mean, I was probably playing against kids on their phones, but still, the matches generally felt pretty fair in single elimination mode, with most of the matches being tight competitions with 1 or 2 rounds separating the winners from the losers. Versus also makes a lot of improvements that fix some of the complaints about Frontlines. The weapon progression is still level-based, but you earn money you can spend to unlock stuff before you reach the rank requirements, and this let me fully customize an M4 with just a handful of matches. Whereas in Frontlines, the weapon unlock grind felt very excessive. The maps also feel more well designed than the ones in Frontlines, with clearer lanes for traveling across the map, less nooks and crannies to hide in, and better overall sense of variety in locations. That said, the maps feel even more derivative than the ones in Frontlines. Versus has its own recreation of Nuketown and a map set on a yacht, similar to the classic yacht map hijacked from Black Ops 2. The gameplay also feels lighter and more responsive than it did in Frontlines, but it's still not perfectly smooth in the way that you'd expect from a game that runs in a web browser. I think there's just some optimization left to do to ensure better frame pacing and whatnot, and hopefully it's not an engine level issue. At the extreme side of things, I had some major performance issues in one match that caused tons of hitching, but it didn't seem like it was specific to the map as it played fine in other matches. Maybe there was some shader compilation going on, but I'm really just guessing as to why things all of a sudden tanked in performance and then at other times didn't. Versus is technically in beta, so there's all sorts of issues to expect, but those are also things that I've noticed while playing Frontlines as well. Now, naturally, diving back into a Roblox tactical shooter got me curious about the overall state of Roblox these days. So I started to check out the other realistic looking games, and what I found is pretty interesting. Back when I first covered Frontlines, there was a lot of games on Roblox that sorta had realistic weapon models, but everything else about them still looked like Roblox with blocky characters and non-textured environments. Frontlines was really the only thing I could find that didn't look like Roblox from top to bottom. However, since then, there's been an explosion of realistic looking games released on the platform. I found one that is basically Ready or Not, where you have a handful of SWAT officers to clear a house. In fact, I found multiple games like this, including one that a friend of mine works on that is actually really impressive. There's also Riot Fall, which is similar to Frontlines with custom character models, realistic looking environments, and well-animated weapons. And there's clearly a growing demand on Roblox for more mature and realistic looking games that appeal to a broader audience. Probably the audience that grew up playing Roblox and now wants the platform to grow with their interests. And speaking personally, I probably never would have jumped on Roblox to check it out if I hadn't seen Frontlines and went, whoa, wait, Roblox can be a game that doesn't look like Roblox? And now it appears that the floodgates are open with more and more realistic Roblox games coming out, and they seem to be popular and more people are playing them and talking about them. Now that said, the core of Roblox is still the crazy, funky looking experiences that appeal mostly to kids on their mobile devices, and it has 80 million daily active users, which is insane. But I think the platform is slowly evolving to try and take on even more gaming markets such as Battlefield, Call of Duty, Tarkov, Ready or Not, and other more mature FPS titles. Who knows, in a few years the next great tactical FPS that everyone's playing could be a Roblox exclusive experience. It's kind of crazy to think about, but I'd bet that something's gonna happen down the road. And it looks like the Roblox team are doubling down on enhancing the Roblox engine to support more modern development workflows and tools. They're working on updates that make it easier to create natural looking environments with more modernized tools and features. They even have seemingly minor things on the roadmap for 2025, like the ability to customize the UI quickly in Roblox, which is currently a pretty tedious process. And from what I gather, dev teams seem to be pretty excited about the direction that the studio is taking with the engine. That said, Roblox devs do have an additional challenge to consider whenever they make a game. Roblox is multi-platform across PC, consoles, web browsers, phones, and not every Roblox is required to work on all platforms, but there's clearly a huge incentive for developers to support browsers and phones, since that's where a huge percentage of the audience is. Versus has a mobile version, and it's actually impressive how well it plays, but as Roblox games get more and more complex, I could see mobile devices becoming a limiting factor in how crazy they can look before the devs have to make major sacrifices to support less powerful devices. And since playtime and audience size are kind of the major factors into the revenue stream for any Roblox title, many will likely aim to have their games work on all platforms, but honestly, who knows? Mobile gaming is also getting faster and faster every year, so I'm very curious to keep following this engine tech that's truly at the forefront of the all-in-one gaming experience that many other developers are trying to follow in the footsteps of, Epic being one of their major competitors. I'd be curious to know in the comments what you guys think of these more modern milsim approaches to the Roblox platform. It's kind of interesting thinking that the audience that grew up with this platform is now making more mature experiences, and that Roblox one day be a platform that appeals to even a more mature audience. Just crazy to think about. I hope you guys enjoyed my coverage of this game. If you did, drop me a like, subscribe for more content like it. And up next, check out just how good Grand Theft Auto 5 can look with the right set of mods. Honestly, it can be made to look just as modern as about any other game you're playing today. As always, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. This is Level Cap, signing off.